And we're live. I am Professor TieDye, also known as JL. I am the co-host of Dangerous Rhetoric podcast. I'm joined here with Nathan Hale. He has been a Twitter mutual for a while. He is the host of the Spin Cycle podcast, where you get to some pretty good takes. And I'll hand it over to him to give a bit of an introduction.
Sure, thanks so much. So yeah, I host the Spin Cycle. We're in season 3 right now. I do that show twice a week. We goes up live on Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble at 6 p.m. every single Tuesday and Thursday. So it's a great show. I typically cover 3 to 5 news stories on those and just kind of read through them and give my take on what's happening in the world. And I try to find stuff that not everyone is always covering, or things that I find really interesting to talk about. So I think I have kind of a more unique viewpoint on all that. And otherwise, I'm just posting on Twitter, in my opinion, the best opinions on the internet, according to myself. So not that I'm a raging narcissist or anything, but it's just my opinion, folks. Take it or leave it. So.
Well, I mean, valuing your own opinion is is a good step to self-esteem. But you speak of news cycles. There's a bit of a tangent here, and I apologize. I don't know if you just saw the news that J-Bay, the plus size influencer who was demanding that everybody pays for her extra seat, and then the one that had the protest because the old lady pushing the wheelchair refused to push her. Do you know who I'm talking about? J-Bay Productions.
I think I saw the story. I'm not sure if I could pick him out of a lineup. I know what you're talking about.
Well, she was like one of the big people for FatCon, and she recently had.
I'm sorry. FatCon? That's a thing that exists.
Yeah. She's a plus size. She's a plus size influencer. She's the one that does all those things about like demanding hotels make the hallways bigger for plus size guests.
I've heard of these folks. Yes.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, if you knew who J-Bay was, I was gonna see if it's a surprise to you that she is now in a state mental institution because she was deemed unfit for trial for her assault of police officers.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm sure. Like, if you think that an entire airline should adjust their standards just because you have chosen the low lifestyle of obesity, then, I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised. So.
Okay. I mean, tangent, but we talked a little bit before stream. Sorry, the puppy just came up to me. We're talking about how you and like other, as we describe, homocons got introduced into conservative politics, and you had mentioned that you'd been homeschooled. Do you want to go a little bit through that kind of progress for yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, the way that I like to say radicalized, because that's the term that, the left loves to throw at us. But I was homeschooled all my life until I got into college. So K through 12. And then, I mean, really before kindergarten, I was homeschooled since the day I was born. But I went to community college after that. And then I went to a 4-year university after that. I'm graduating in the spring. So that's kind of been my progress through education. But I really got introduced and radicalized kind of right after the 2016 election. I mean, okay. I remember seeing like Donald Trump on TV and everything, and just like, so in 2016, I was like 13. And so I remember seeing Donald Trump on TV, but I wasn't really like, super interested in what was going on yet. I really didn't know all the things that were happening. I just remember seeing like the clips and stuff on like Fox News and everything. And like my dad listened to Rush Limbaugh a lot in the car. So I just had that like getting ingrained into me. So I've been red pilled all my life. But what really got me in was like around like the 2017, 2018 time, I started seeing like the alternative media was really like shooting off. So like I started seeing a whole lot of Charlie Kirk videos where he was going to these universities, and this was before crowds were coming. This was when he was there with like a card table, and like it was just him and like 1 or 2 other people, and like 5 people would come talk to him in the entire day. So I started seeing those, and I started seeing, I think if I could pinpoint it down to one moment in time that's really stuck with me, Jesse Waters on Fox News, he used to go and do like Man on the Street videos. I love Man on the Street videos, they're the best. But he did a man on the street video where he was going and asking just people basic questions about US history.
Hmm.
Like I think one of them was like, when did the Declaration of Independence get signed? Like this is like pretty standard information. And people are thinking it's like 1902 and like, 20 years ago, like not that long ago, or like nobody knows who the current vice president is. And I get that the vice president is probably the most insignificant member of the White House, but still, I mean, I feel like people should know who the vice president is.
Yeah.
They're second and they're the first in line to the presidency. Um, so I just remember seeing that, and I just like my brain just like blew up. I'm just like I had no idea because I've been homeschooled all my life. Because if you don't know, for people who haven't met homeschool kids, they tend
Yeah.
to be like a grade or two ahead of like their age.
Oh
So
yeah.
they tend to be a little bit more mature. And so I hadn't been like exposed to just like the idiotic side of the world yet. So that was really like my first exposure to it, was seeing this video of like people who have no knowledge of like basic history. And these are like adults. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm 13 and I can name all of these answers just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And so that moment right there, I think really got me more interested in at least like watching stuff like that. So then I started, like I said, I started seeing Charlie Kirk. Will Witt used to do man on the street videos for Prager University.
Hmm.
And his were really good. I think he's off doing like some protein powder company or something now. He's not involved in politics anymore. But I started seeing him, and then I started following like people like Ben Shapiro. Huge fan of Ben Shapiro, and then Jordan Peterson. Like my trifecta of like radicalizers are Charlie Kirk, Jordan Peterson, and Ben Shapiro. Like those three people right there.
Yeah.
And then I got into college, and then I ended up at a four-year university here in the Midwest. And when I got involved there, I knew I wanted to get involved in Turning Point USA. So I became the president of my chapter at the university here, which has just completely blown up in the past few weeks. And I got involved in organizations like Gays Against Groomers. And I just like really like, I had the opportunity to start hosting a news show that has just kind of taken off from there, and I've just blown up on the internet. So it's been a
Yeah.
slow process over years of slowly getting me to where I'm sitting at right now. So that's kind of my story at a 10,000-foot level.
Yeah, because I knew that you're involved with Gays Against Groomers and then the TPUSA thing. So, um, I've been laughing in the back of my head because they say that kids at homeschool are much smarter because our kids are homeschooled. They go to a church pod program
Mm-hmm.
and they interact with other kids. And I this is gonna sound mean, but I see like my youngest is 5, and like and that old, like the oldest is 9, and like sometimes like I see kids like their age, and I look at them like, how are you so dumb? Like kids like their age. I'm like, my kids aren't that stupid. Yeah, there's a whole zoo story where like they had a display of like a tiger paw, and another kid the same age as one of my kids was like afraid of it, and the mother had to assure him it can't hurt them. And then like my daughter walks up and just like starts asking questions, and I'm like, kids don't need to be dumb. Anyways, but no, what's it like being involved in like a campus political organization like TPUSA or Gays Against Groomers?
Yeah, so those two organizations are really different. So I don't do very much with either of them anymore just because I've just been doing social media now and
Yeah.
I have limited time. So I kind of decide where I feel like my time is best spent. I feel like it's voicing my thoughts on the internet versus being kind of on the ground. But I did on the ground work for several years until very recently. So Turning Point USA is really interesting because Turning Point is all student run.
Hmm.
It's a great organization. We get all these free resources from Turning Point corporates. We get all these like handouts and stuff we can give to people. We have the ability to like request speakers and everything that come to our schools. So I go to a smaller school and we have a lot of international students.
Hmm.
And honestly, like the political climate is really good at my university, which is like it surprises a lot of people to hear that. But I honestly stopped being super involved with Turning Point because I didn't really feel like we were really impacting anything. Like I felt like the university was like pretty good overall. Like there were definitely instances of like crazed teachers from time to time, but like the administration was perfectly happy to have us there. We really didn't get all that many crazy people coming to our tables. Like every now and then we get some like you know, jean jacketed, you know, buttons all over it, you know, shaved head, lib coming up, and they would like sweep all this stuff off our table or like take a whole bunch of our free handouts or something. And I'm just like, joke's on you. I have like a million more of those handouts where those came from. So you did nothing.
Yeah.
So, but it was a really good experience. I got the opportunity to volunteer at other events. So I was a volunteer at a Charlie Kirk event in 2024 at a school that was about 2 hours away, a much larger school. And that was a great experience. We got a whole meet and greet and everything. So it was a great time. Games Against Rumors was really interesting. So they are a much more like online based organization, and they've changed a lot over the years, I feel like. So I'm not really involved with them anymore. I don't do a whole lot. I don't do anything with Games Against Rumors anymore. What am I saying? Not that I have bad blood with them or anything. It's just like I don't have time for it. But they're also a really good organization. They got a lot of really awesome people working for them. They're entirely lesbian, gay, and bisexual group of people, and yeah, they do some cool things too. So I was able to participate in a nationwide protest with them. Also in I think that was in 2023 actually. So that was really cool. And then we had the tranny crowd there who was protesting our protest. So
yeah, it's kind of funny because like I'm in the Midwest. I was talking to someone yesterday, and it is funny that like being in the Midwest and seeing the protesters here is like you get like the geriatric, they took everybody from the nursing home, or you have like the crazed 20 somethings with like the shaved heads still wearing N95 masks, like screaming something incoherent. You know, it's a very interesting, like you don't have people like my age, kind of like middle-aged, like, you know, because we got things to do.
It's because we're employed. Good jobs.
Yeah, I know.
For that.
I mean, we don't have the free time to like stand in the. Well, I was talking to somebody like with the No Kings protest, and every time, if you're familiar with Wisconsin, I go to like Stevens Point or UW Eau Claire, and every time there's a No Kings protest, it's like the college students or the college aged people who probably aren't in college, and like geriatric patients, you know, they're just like super old and they're holding these like ridiculous signs. I'm like, what does this mean? Like these signs are nonsensical. And it's
I always speculate because I have no idea. Like I know there's so many theories and stuff how these protests happen, but I'm like, there's no way that every single person who's protesting this country is getting paid to be there. It's like so many of them are just there because they want to be. And I'm like, even like something would have to have gone seriously wrong for me to want to spend my time on a roadside protesting something and like for hours. Because like I have other things to do. Like I did one with like Gays Against Groomers because I really liked it, and it was a whole like nationwide thing. It was really cool. I'm just like, there's no way that I would stand on a road. I don't know. It's just the whole thing. And like saying that protesting against a president who has been duly elected by the people of the United States against him being a king, I just think are just conflicting terms right there. So it blows my mind. But I saw them. I know what you're talking about. They were all over the place.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that's so funny about like the paid protest thing. A lot of times it's like, I don't think they're all being paid, but it is very weird because the last couple like No Kings protests when I've been in a college town, like right at 2:00, everybody dissipates. It's almost like their shift is over. And I'm like, this is weird. There's almost like no stragglers. Like everybody just left. And so I was actually gonna say, because La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is south of me, Trump and See, I just tongue-tied and said Bush when I didn't mean to. I threw myself off. I apologize. Both Trump and Vance have been there to do rallies because there's a big convention center in La Crosse. And a few weeks ago, Vance came to La Crosse and he had a bunch of people lined up around the street to protest him. He pulled the best troll move ever. He drove on the left, like his motorcade came down the left side of the road. So like the cross is like it's divided as it goes through downtown. So instead of going right, he came across the left. And if I find the footage, I'll DM it to you. It is hilarious because all of a sudden all the protesters here like run across like this little garden grass area.
I've seen it. I know what you're
okay.
talking about.
Yeah. So that's La Crosse, and like one of my friends lives there, and they sent me that footage. I'm like, oh man, of all the times I wish I was in La Crosse, which no one wishes they could be in La Crosse. I wish I could have been there for that. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was just genius. It's like Vance knew what he was doing in doing that. It was just hilarious. But
I love our vice president, man. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things too that the only thing I can really people smear him with are like these like weird, vague connections to certain people that are shady. It's like, but there's really no solid connection, like anything.
It's because Donald Trump, he got the memo and he picked just a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
JD Vance is the most like normal dude that I think I've ever seen. He just looks like a guy. He just looks like some guy on the street. Like Donald Trump got the message. Kamala Harris picked this like crazy, balloon arm guy who doesn't even know football terms and isn't even a super popular governor of a state that she was going to win anyways to come and run next to her. Trump picked just a normal, regular dude.
Well, I'm going to say that the problem with Minnesota and why Waltz can get elected, and he's probably going to win his third term, is how densely like people don't understand. Like the Twin Cities is incredibly dense, but the rest of the state is like empty farmland. And the problem is there's so many consolidated votes in those areas, and the way they've like gerrymandered, is going to win. But one of my friends, I keep calling him Governor Baby Huey because just how ridiculous the stuff he does is. I mean, he's just kind of like a walking joke. But yeah, I mean, that's just it. He did pick the thing, and I was that Vance's book. It's like I think people, if you want to understand Vance, read his book. I mean, even though he's not a political person, Tyler Zed, his book, the Trailer Park Parable, and Vance's book are two books I just really think people should read to understand just like the average white conservative male picking ourselves up by our bootstraps and getting our life going. And I think those are two very profound books. Shout out to Tyler Zed. he's got a good show, but I loved his book, the Trailer Park Parable, and the Hillbilly Eulogy, or
Hillbilly
Elegy, yeah. Great book to understand where he comes from, why he is the way he is, and even you get a great insight into why he would have been originally a never Trumper, and then when he saw like how things were, why he came over to Trump's side, and he's not this duplicitous person that people say he is.
He's just a normal guy, and I get it.
Yeah,
so I'm like I get it. I get why people would be against Trump. So I get it. I'm here for it. So I don't have any issue with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part on the right, is that it's a lot of times the ability to disagree on stuff, and then also still have a commonality where you can find things in common with the other person, which I think is the greatest strength of the conservative movement, is that we don't have that like ideological purity, no true Scotsman test, litmus test that we constantly run against people, to be like, oh no, you don't believe exactly this. And it's like no, we don't need to do that. Okay.
I think it depends on the issue, I will say, and also I think there's a lot of variation between just people who are normal people in society and people who are chronically online when it comes to certain things. So I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, because like one thing I'll say is like for me, like a hardline issue for me is abortion. Like I cannot find it morally agreeable in any circumstances. Like tragedies are going to happen. There's going to be issues that stuff can come up. but it's like, if you're not going to engage in honest conversation and be like, you're aborting a human fetus, you just can be, it's a clump of cells, it's whatever, you can diminish a human life. It's like, then I can't have a conversation with you. It's kind of like my hard line. Like, because I know we all have hard lines kind of thing.
Well, I
But
mean, I think with that, it's just like you have to establish facts first. It's just like with
yeah,
any debate that you have with someone, you have to have the same facts before you can rationally talk to someone about anything. And that's
yeah,
why I think there's been so much just division in general, is people can't agree on like basic facts. And then
yeah,
all of a sudden you have these like people who just like go at each other with pitchforks because they both think that their facts are correct, when in my opinion one side's facts are more correct, usually I would say at a 90% rate, than the opposite side. So
yeah. Or their facts are not based upon lived experience.
oh my gosh, I know, right?
I mean, one of my favorite terms of all time was hate facts. Have you came across that? With
I've
some,
heard of these hate facts before, yes. Would a hate fact be like the black population makes up 15% of the United States but commits
yeah,
50% of the crimes? Is
yeah,
that a hate fact?
the 1350 kind of thing.
That's it, yeah,
That'd be a
1550.
hate fact, because you're using something factual in a hateful manner.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so objective truth is hateful. Okay, well, yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just very funny. So I mean, one thing I did talk to you a little bit about before is like, how has you being conservative, like especially being a young gay guy, how has that personally affected you, like in your life, your overall like social relationships, how people treat you? I mean, you sound like you're very lucky to be in the school that you're at being a little more based. But have you come across a lot of just people just going nuts on you, or like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a mixed bag, I would say. I have not experienced anything from the conservatives, I will say that. I have been to just, be in the conservative space. I've gone to events, I've gone to meetings, I've been involved in lots of different groups and everything. Never had anyone in the conservative camp that I've actually met in person
Mhm.
ever like have any sort of prejudice or have any issues or anything regarding anything about me. Um, so which has been great, because it can definitely be a little bit of a mixed bag. I would feel like, just from the general perspective of going into like a very like conservative Christian space when you're a
Yeah.
very outward facing gay man. But everything has gone fine with that. I would say that I, I am very like selective with just who I hang out with in general. And I've
Mhm.
just found that like a lot of people who are my age, I just don't vibe with them. They're either like super huge libs, which are like, I don't have an issue with you if you're a lib or anything. But if you're just like, if you're a lib and you can't hang out, it's more you're a lib and you can't hang out with conservatives versus like I'm a conservative and can't hang out with libs. It's like
Mhm.
that, where I'm just like, I can't vibe with you, or like you're like, just I know you're crazy because I hear the things you say in class. I'm just like, why would I spend time with you when you just hate capitalism? Like, I know
Yeah.
people who walk around my school who literally have like communist like hammers and sickles on their backpack. It's crazy. So I'm like, why would I want to hang out with you? So I mean, I'm very lucky to be in a really good relationship. I'm really lucky to have a great family. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten any pushback. I would say, I've gotten pushback for being on campus and being in Turning Point more than I have for like really anything else. So I have some kind of crazy stories from that.
Do you want to share any of those?
Sure. So, one of my big political philosophies is just I want more dialogue and more people involved in talking to each other. And
Yeah.
this was all the way back in 2023. It's what got Charlie Kirk killed, frankly, was people not talking to each other. And I've just always had that philosophy that I just want more conversations and more mixing of ideas. And if you have an opinion, like, I want to hear it. Like, I can vibe with you if you're lit. Like, if you want to have a conversation with me about socialized healthcare and housing reform and stuff like that, like, I'm here for it. Like, go for it. But like, if you're going to be nuts about it, like, that's when we lose each other. So a big thing that I did when I became our Turning Point president was I started getting our chapter more engaged in other university groups. So one of them was the College Democrats. So I myself and another one of our members, we started going to the College Democrats meetings every single week. They had a meeting once a week. We were going, we were interacting with them. And it all seemed to be going really well. Like, they were like nice people for the most part.
Yeah.
So we had been doing this for probably, I don't know, maybe a couple months at that point. And, you know, all university groups, they have like group chats that are through like different services and stuff that they post, like, here's our upcoming events or whatever, things like that inside of it. So I was like, okay, well, I feel like we've made ourselves known to them. Like, they know that we're not crazy people. We're not here to like own them or anything or like argue with them. We're here just like, hey, like, we're both for university groups and stuff, we're doing things. So this was around the time of 2024 primaries. So Turning Point, so I put together a huge event in
hold on a second. You're roboting.
Oh no.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay. So this was around the time of the 2024 primary. And so I had put together a watch party for the first presidential debate for the Republicans, because that's the only one that was happening at the time. And we rented out like the theater in the university with the huge like big screen production. Super cool event. We had a state representative come to it. We had a bunch of other like people who were from the area come and join us. It was a super great event. So I had posted in their chat, I was like, hey, I just want to let you all know, like, we're having this watch party. If you guys want to like come over and everything, like, seems like a thing that you might be interested in. As people are also interested in politics. This is something that's happening politically. This is possibly one of the next presidents of the United States standing on stage here. Obviously, Donald Trump wasn't there, but I mean, this we don't know how the primaries are going to go yet. So I posted in there, very like, I felt like it was a very innocent thing that I put in there, and apparently it was not, because the response that I got, I was kicked out of their group chat. My other member of my chapter is kicked out of their group chat, who didn't even say anything. They just kicked us both out. But before they did, they posted in their group chat, basically, they said something along the lines of, don't promote your fascist organization or group chat or something like that. And I'm just like, whoa, like, that came out of nowhere. Like, you could have just deleted the message that I put and said, hey, please don't put advertisements for other groups in here or anything. I didn't really feel like it was an advertisement. I felt like it was more just like, hey, this is happening. Like, I don't know. But I wouldn't have an issue with it had they done the same thing in my group chat, is all I'm saying. So that happened. And because I am not a very agreeable person, I went to their meeting the next week. And when I confronted their president, I was like, hey, like, what gives? Like, what happened here? I was like, why? I understand where you're coming from, but like, where'd the whole fascist line come from? Because I don't take being called a fascist lightly, because I'm not a fascist. So like, what gives? And he basically really couldn't give a rational reason for saying that. He's like, well, you know, Turning Point's been involved in like some fascist things in the past. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he just like couldn't give any examples. And I'm like, what have I done that would indicate to you that I believe in that at all? Because I'm not a Nazi, right? And he really couldn't give anything. So there was a nice kind of finish to that story. He did end up apologizing. He did end up letting us come back into the group chat and everything. And actually, next week we had a couple of their members come to our Turning Point meeting. Frankly, because I think they saw what happened to me, and they were like, this seems a little off. Like, you can smell when things are fishy. So, but But that was probably about the craziest thing that happened. But even then, we had like a nice resolution because of it. But the thing that I like to point out with that story is that I took the time to go and try and get clarification, because I have screenshots of all this. I could have just posted that online, and I could have made like a really big stir of that story, like before I got all the facts. And I went and clarified, and I went and got like we talked like in person, like with each other, like normal people, before this like got blown up on the internet or anything. Because like it could have been like I could have sent that to Turning Point Corporate, and they definitely would have like reshared it and everything on their social media. But like I'm just not that kind of person, and just my philosophy is like I just want more people to talk. And if we're going to have like disagreements, like you better be able to back them up. And this guy couldn't, so like it showed. But we got that, and I
See, that's one thing I find very fascinating about how easily a left will, like someone on the left will label a conservative or someone doesn't fully agree with them as a fascist, or say that's a fascist talking point or something. Or there's a streamer that like I've played games with them before, and like he's like, oh, like Twitter's run by Nazis. It's like, define Nazi. Like what is a Nazi to you? Because like at this point it's kind of meaningless. And you know, it's weird talking to you because like you said how old you were in 2016, but this is when I was in college, so probably before you were born. Dennis Prager said something that at first I didn't really agree with, but that as I've gotten older I find to be more true. He says that hate doesn't flow from the right to the left. Hate almost solely flows from the left to the right, because while someone on the right will like think that they're sincerely misguided or they don't understand the facts, someone on the left thinks that you have that opinion because you're evil. And it really comes down to almost that dynamic. I mean, this was like, I mean, this one, like Charlie Kirk would have been in elementary that Dennis Prager said that kind of thing. And it's like, man, this really is the big thing, is that the lack of dialogue, that you have a group of people who will almost just refuse to dialogue with you because they've already labeled you a fascist. And the fact that I'm going to be honest, that took big balls to be able to go to that meeting after that. Because like a lot of people would have been scared of being accosted. Like when you were labeled a fascist, if you're going back into the lion's den where they basically labeled you that, and now like you went in there, and that takes bravery.
I'll be honest with you. I could have taken them all on. They're all like skinny, kind of fluffy people. So I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was in any danger.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say it's like the DSA meeting nearby where I am. It's like you all have never seen sunlight in 6 years and still wear N95 masks. I can run 15 feet and you'll pass out catching up to me.
not to downplay it or anything. I don't want to make fun of these people because they're perfectly nice people. But I could have taken them. I was okay. So I was there with my other member who had gotten kicked out too, and he's kind of a big beefy guy. So I had my bodyguard with me. So, but no, I totally agree. And I think it's so dangerous. I don't know why people don't see this, that it's so dangerous to accuse people of being Nazis when they're not, or being communists when they're not, or being something when they're clearly not, or you don't know the definition of those things. Because even, I mean, we can look at like recent examples, but frankly, I think it's disrespectful to the people who actually died from a fascist regime. Like, how insensitive of you is it to call someone like Donald Trump a fascist when literally millions of people died in World War II because of fascist leadership? Like, way to really like, destroy their memory and the terror that they actually faced. Because last time I checked, there's not people and Frankenets in the United States right now.
Well, I mean, we're told there are, but we're never given examples. So that's.
But see, exactly, right? And
I
it's
know.
just like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, or like the one how like the was it ICE kidnapped a 5-year-old girl to capture the father, and when this whole story came out, the father basically ditched, abandoning the little girl, and like the ICE agents were providing care to her was the actual like real story. You know, they keep
And
through his daughter as a distraction. It's like, come on, people.
yeah, I mean, they love to use ICE as an example. Here's the thing. In Nazi Germany, right, you had a secret police force that was going house to house searching for people,
Hmm.
but they were literally like they did not have a clear directive of what to do. They were just looking for anyone
Hmm.
and they could do anything. ICE has a very clear directive. They are
Yeah.
looking for people who are legally in our country and to deport them. And if
Hmm.
you are here legally, then you're good. You have
Yeah.
nothing to worry about. This
Yeah.
isn't like a whole Nazi Germany thing where it's like, oh, if you have nothing to fear, nothing to hide, right? Like we know who a lot of these illegals actually are. Like
Yeah.
we actually have records of who is here illegally in our country. We have records of who is here, especially if they commit a crime or something. Like we know who these people are, and we just chose not to deport them after they committed that crime, right?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to me. And you're actually honestly probably causing more violence as a protester by going and trying to impede these guys doing their job than you would if you just like let them be and go do their thing.
Well,
So
well, especially like in Chicago, how it escalated this past weekend of them like full on boxing in ICE agent cars, like trying to like obstruct their driving. It's like you're creating a hazardous, like a hazardous environment for just anybody on the road who might not even know what's going on. Like you're putting other people's lives at risk, you know. And to me, it's just like it almost falls in that immediate gratification of I can post that, but like I boxed ICE agent's car in, and you know, and get that immediate gratification of people liking the post over like consideration for the community.
and here's one other thing I'd like to say. The Democrats, they just want to take whatever is happening and just make it as extreme as possible. Here's what I would do. Now, I'm a rational, sane human being. If I was the lead Democrat, this is what I would say is going to be our party platform where it comes to like deportation and everything. I would say, hey, you know, we might be fans of if let's just imagine for a minute that the Democrats actually have a heart and they
Hmm.
actually do love the illegals, not because they vote for them or because they support the Democrats, but
Yeah.
because they actually like them. I'd say, hey, you know what? Let's make it easier for these people who are in our country right now to get citizenship. Let's go out as Democrats and let's start engaging with these people and show them how to become citizens, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like standing here and protesting things and like trying to stop the radical Republicans from going and deporting everyone. Like, why don't you find a way to help the people and help them become citizens? Because that's all we really want as Republicans. We just want people to be citizens. We don't want
Yeah.
people to be here illegally in our country. We don't care that you're from Mexico. We really don't. Just be a citizen. Pay your taxes, right? We
Yeah.
want you to have the records and documentation so we know who you are because we need to know who's in our country for so many reasons other than just work related. It's a national security issue. I mean, it's a work issue. It's just a society in general issue.
Hmm.
And I think we should have more programs in our country to get people assimilated into our culture. There are in other countries in the world, especially over in Europe, they require people who immigrate into their country to assimilate to their culture. They require them to take classes to learn the language. They require them to like be a part of the culture for so long before they can get citizenship. It's a lot different. But if you suggest that in the United States, they would call you racist for suggesting that people here in America should know English, right?
Yeah.
And I've just thought about that a lot, and I'm like, it just really shows how we have a side in this country who really doesn't want the best for people, in my opinion, and they really don't actually want to help them. Because if they did, they would be suggesting things like that.
Yeah.
Because I, as a Republican, actually think it's a good idea. So think of how that would go over on the Democrat side, but it wouldn't because they can't actually be sane right now.
Well, I think the big thing is like that would be a solution to a forever problem that they can keep milking.
Hmm.
You know, I mean that's like something
Exactly, right?
that's like something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's timely in the news right now to be pro criminal and to be anti-Trump, right? It works for them in the media and it works for them in their base. They actually suggested anything reasonable right now, it just wouldn't go over well. So they've gotten rid of all the rational people in their party. I swear, I think John Fetterman's going to be a Republican by next year.
Yeah, I know. We like, it's kind of funny that John Fetterman having a stroke, like, where he had to learn how to rethink.
That stroke radicalized him. You want to talk about being radicalized? That stroke radicalized John Fetterman.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one thing too, because when we lived in the Twin Cities, we had this neighbor, and like they're always going to like these protests, and I said, well, what are you doing to help the immigrant community? She's like, oh, well, we're standing up for him. I'm like, but what are you doing to help him? We're standing up for him. I'm like, but what are you doing to help them? Like all they would have is basically they're protesting for him. I'm like, you're not assisting with any of this. You're not helping, like, pass the immigration test, like pass a naturalization test. You're not
right?
doing any of that. That's like, and both of them were teachers. They could have done stuff like that, but instead they would go protest.
Imagine how different it would look if instead the Democrats holding up signs that said "No Kings," they were holding up signs saying, "This is how you become a citizen. Here's a QR code. Scan this. It'll take you to the center for Border Patrol website for how to become a citizen of the United States." We're holding forums to help you pass the immigration exam. It's not that hard of an exam, by the way. I've taken it. It's very easy. It's not that difficult. I love all these people are like, oh my gosh, it's such a hard test. No, it's not. It's like basic information about the country that you're moving to. You should know this information. And maybe it's hard for them, but because they don't know it at all. But it's not that difficult. It's like basic U.S. history knowledge.
Well, I mean, to rewind back to when you talked about the people on the street interviews, some of them probably couldn't pass it. I think it was a Mark Dice video where he asked people the naturalization quiz, and like people were failing it. I haven't seen a Mark Dice video in a long time. He does some good man on the street content, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things that you just read a pamphlet of like like a Cliff Notes on American history, and you can pass the test. It's not difficult, but yeah, it is very. I mean, it's one of those things that like you're trying to get a solution with a party that doesn't want any solutions, and that's like the biggest thing that a lot of times people miss is that
it's really that, because they've taken the perspective of anything that Republicans support they must be against, instead of what the position should be as the opposition right now is, let's suggest some alternatives then, right? Because the Democrats shut down the government. Why did they shut it down, right? They shut it down because they wanted to give illegals health care, and they wanted to rescind the big, beautiful bill. Now, I have some issues with things that Republicans do, but if I was a Democrat, saying that you just want to completely undo basically everything that Congress has done over the past 6 months is like, that's kind of a big ask, right? That's kind of a big ask. Let's just undo the bill that we just passed, this big omnibus bill that Republicans had to push through that, it's like 1,000 pages long, right? Something like that. That's kind of a big ask, right? Maybe instead you should be like actually suggesting reasonable things and they would get passed, right? Maybe you should tweak the things that Republicans are saying when it comes to like immigration enforcement, stuff like that. Maybe instead being like, oh my gosh, we're against ICE has to be shut down. Maybe you should say, hey, instead, can we have ICE acting, in this manner? Can we kind of like hone in how they're going about these cities and everything? Because right now it is up to Republicans how ICE functions, because the opposition has nothing to say about it other than they just want to be shut down.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I always go back to. It's just like it's like that immediate need, almost child thing. It's like, you need to give us this or we're not going to do it. You need to give us this or we're gonna grab our toys and leave. And it's like, then blaming the shutdown. Like some of the ads I saw, especially with Tina Smith in Minnesota, and then I'm trying to remember who the one is, that they're almost interchangeable, like the two female senators from one, not Amy Klobuchar, but the other senator from Minnesota, and then the senator here in Wisconsin. Like,
is it Elise Sorkin? Is she from Minnesota?
No, it's Tina Smith and I forget the Wisconsin senator, but
Yeah.
they're basically interchangeable. Like I honestly,
Mhm.
I see one, I think I can't tell who they are, but
They're so forgettable. They don't have
they are.
original thoughts.
Well, yeah, and basically they're saying something about how the Democrats are willing to negotiate, but Republicans are refusing, like, to meet them at the table. And it's
Right.
like, no, they're refusing to give in to your demands. That's kind of what it is. It's as one of these things that's completely tone deaf and trying to get ahead of the messaging that it's because of Republicans things are getting shut down. It's like, no, because you want to basically in a budget bill overturn legislation. It's like that's not how this should work.
Yeah.
It's
It's
but
crazy.
but yeah, let's see here. There's something else I was going to ask you.
Sure. I'm all
I
ears.
just I I just drew a blank because my puppy keeps coming up and jumping at me. What is was it? See, like, now we got a lull in the conversation. That's not good for the recording.
Well,
What's the,
people can just enjoy my face and my background for a moment
exactly?
then.
I was enjoying your background because, well, I mean, let's start with that because like I knew it wasn't right because I said political science. I knew, like, I was kind of hesitant because I knew that wasn't right because I heard it before. But you're going into urban planning,
Yeah.
so do I talk about that? What's
I
your
mean, sure I can. I mean, I have a love for architecture and I have a
Mhm.
love for cities, and urban planning kind of fits that for me. And there's actually a surprising a lot of policy that takes place within the urban planning profession, surprisingly enough. So I can kind of flex my political muscle there, and it's a very left wing profession, but I actually I'm looking forward to that because I can be the one voice of reason in the room when it starts to get a little crazy. Then um, I have been so far in school, so it's been interesting. But yeah, I'm excited for it. So I'm in the process of looking for jobs right now, and so yeah, it's an interesting profession. It has a lot of components to it. I think it's an underappreciated job out there in that we have to correspond with architects and construction workers and engineers and all sorts of different professions out there in the city and coordinate things. So it's definitely a job if you like being a generalist and you like doing lots of different things.
Mhm.
That's definitely a job for you versus like architects. They pretty much do the same basic things for the most part. I mean, there's so many different things that planners have to do on a daily basis.
That kind of reminds me, like, as a segue into this too, because one of my kind of mentor teachers in Bible college, his actually he was a civil engineer, like
Mm-hmm.
like the planner. He went and got his master's degree, and that's how he ended up teaching math at a Bible college. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Bible college standards, someone with a master's degree in civil engineering is teaching math, but no, he was really fascinating because he would talk, like, he would give really real world applications of stuff in the way that he would, like, you can't just do this because if that happens, then these things will happen. And it's very interesting talking to him and kind of getting that, like, okay, yeah, if you pull this thread, you have these threads over here that are tied to that one. So you got to, like, keep that constantly adjusting and planning and, staying ahead of, things going horribly wrong.
If you solve the math equation this way, the bridge collapse.
Kind of, yeah. That's
Probably that was probably his perspective versus like if you do it this way, it stays up.
yeah. I mean yeah. It was actually. I mean, I remember one time too. It was weird because, like, I kicked the can, like, taking math as long as I could because I just didn't want to, and it had this, like, this thing called, like, a bucket problem. I'm like, what is a bucket problem? And I still probably couldn't tell you what it was, but, like, it's the way you divide stuff into, like, buckets to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I've never heard this before in my life, but we'll go with it. But the way he approached thing was like everything was like a visual. It's very interesting the way he taught because coming from
Mm-hmm.
his background, like, every math problem was almost like a word visual problem of how do you work through it, like how do you visualize working through this. And he's really good. And, like, and I sat down and he kind of mentored me of, like, how to plan stuff and just, like, the way of visualizing your plan and not just,
Mm-hmm.
like, planning to do something like, oh, I'm going to plan to do this, but, like, how do you go ahead and create a whole concept and visualization and how is it all supported going out. And yeah, he was fascinating to sit down and talk to and have him like mentor me for a semester. But yeah, because you said that it might be in the cards later on of going on and getting a master's degree and teaching. But
We'll
I
see.
I, I think you'd be a good teacher, honestly. Like I kind of have different modes I can go on, but you're very personable and outgoing, and
Oh, thank you.
you could really engage with people. I think that's the thing. I mean, I've got my I'm Midwest. Don't talk to me if I don't know you. But then also too, then I've got like the case management teaching thing where it's like, hey, I want to know you. Let's find out. But yeah, I mean, you've always had your show is very good. Should give a shout out to the Spin Cycle. I'll also have that listed down below. It's a good show. Nathan does have some good takes, and
Oh, I appreciate it.
that's why I reach out to you, because like a lot of times, like hearing other people's takes that I'm not fully in line with, but also where there's areas of agreement, kind of thing, is like, I mean, that's why honestly I like a lot of the homocons, as we talked about earlier, is that there's there's a big overlap of what we agree with, but then parts of me, there's like other areas I'm like, nah, that's a little too far for me, but at the same time too, there's no reason for animosity over that.
Yeah, a lot of the homocons are still kind of obsessed with hookup culture, and I'm like, I don't really know if you can call yourself a conservative if you're like going around sleeping with
that
5 different people every month or something like that. So
that's
I don't know. I've got into some hot water with the homocons when I've suggested monogamous relationships and staying away from things like porn and other stuff. And I've gotten in some
yeah
hot water. And I'm like, you know what? I said what I said. So we'll
yeah
see.
that,
Get back to me in 10 years when I'm married and have kids and have a much more fulfilling life than you do. So we'll see. We'll see.
yeah, that's what's gotten a few of them very angry at me, because like I've always like, like trying to say like, oh, I don't really think surrogacy is a good idea because like, you destroyed the embryos, being pro-life. I can't agree to that. And then I was told how homophobic that was, and I blah 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 blah. It's like, no, I just don't like it because you're destroying embryos. Like, adoption, that's a different solution, but I just, the concept of you created a fertilized cell which is now has unique human DNA, like how like very strong on abortion, or like I try to say something like, you can't be conservative and have an open relationship, and like, how dare you, like heteronormative, like, blah blah blah. I'm like, liberal talking point.
I know. I remember I said something that I can't remember what was off the top of my head. I think it's one of my like highlighted tweets if you kind of go and flip through them. But I know that I had like a really big porn star on Twitter like getting really upset with me, and then all of his like porn star friends were like retweeting me and telling me how wrong I was. And I tweeted, I was like, well, when the porn stars are against you, you're on the right side.
Yeah,
So
I think I
I
saw
just
that one.
I got a tickle out of that because like this guy has like 800,000 followers on Twitter or something like that, and he's getting upset at little old me. I'm like, wow, I really really pissed you off, I guess. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
I said what I said. So and then I've said stuff online that and here's the thing. This is also something I think that differentiates conservatives from the liberals is like at least I have the guts to say if I've been wrong or things like that. So like I had an issue when Trump executed that whole attack on Iran, on the Iranian nuclear facilities, and
mhm.
bombed them. In the moment, I was concerned with them. Like, I don't know how Iran's going to react to this. I don't want to have another war in the Middle East. I was a little hesitant to just get on board,
Mhm.
and so I tweeted as a joke, just for everyone sitting in the back, as a joke. I tweeted I thought that Trump was the anti-war president as a joke because I say stuff that's a joke to me, and I realize that people online can't hear my voice. I'm reading it to them. So I tweeted. I got so many people upset me that I tweet that got went really viral. And I mean, I was like, I said what I said. It's still up. I'm like, I haven't ever deleted a tweet that I've written, I don't think. Um, but I've later come to realize it was the right decision. I'm okay with admitting that was the right choice to do. I'm on board with it now. But I was just like, in the moment, I was a little concerned. I tweeted, I put my phone and I went to bed. And I was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize what I said. So excuse me, sorry guys.
You had that lady on the plane moment where she tweets out before flying to Africa. It's like, I'm flying to Africa. I hope I don't get AIDS. And then she lands and she's fired.
Yeah, exactly. Like it kind of, it was definitely one of those where I'm like, okay, I guess I just will keep my mouth shut on this now. So, and there are
Well,
some things where I get raised because I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just, I'm just going to leave that one. You know what? I mean, I don't really want to have this fight with people. So,
that's where a lot of times if I'm unsure, I'm like, I'll say like I shouldn't have to, but I think I need to add a then I do a /s, kind of thing, because like that way it's obvious I'm trying to be sarcastic. But yeah,
mhm.
I think the thing that got most people mad is when I was trying to say, like, I had one person get very angry when I was trying to say like I'm against surrogacy because it's destroying human embryos, and then someone goes like, "What's an opinion on the gay community that will get you like this?" and has like all the swords in the face, and I say,
Uh-huh.
PrEP is a lifestyle drug, not a life-saving drug. If you took
Oh,
responsibility,
totally.
if you take responsibility for your sexual acts, like
Totally.
like you know, HIV wouldn't be a thing, and we wouldn't have antibiotic resistant STIs. And I just had people blow up on me,
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
like, how am I wrong? I go, how about the fact that we've now had to have several different versions of PrEP, because it used to be just Truvida, now it's Truvida with something else. Now there's a combination because HIV constantly mutates. And like I was trying to explain something like, we're gonna, because like when I did case management and I worked with people, like you can actually get, if you have HIV, you can actually get infected again by a different strain. Like
Yeah.
people don't understand this. Like even if you're on PrEP, if the person is like positive or they're undetectable, there's like all kinds of stuff that go in there. Like let's say they have a STI, let's say they have gonorrhea. Well, now they're like leaking more bodily fluids, like blood, and it increases the chance of transmittal. And so if it's resistant to the PrEP that you're taking, you can still get infected. It's not like, prepping, you're done. You still need to take precautions. And like people got so angry at me. And I'm like, this is
No,
a very
I'm
this is a very
I'm on
rational opinion.
I'm on your side. I think that's ridiculous because it's just one of those things where it's like you could just have safe sex. Like that's the thing that exists. Like we have like ways to do that. This isn't like, the Stone Age. Like
Yeah.
we have ways to do it. So or maybe like you just like I think that our culture just looks so much at like having sex is just like something that you have to do like super fast and everything with a partner versus like I'm in the conservative camp where I'm just kind of like I like totally respect people who are like they wait till marriage to have sex and everything, or like if you don't want to do it right away, like I don't have like anything against that, and like maybe you should go on like a few dates beforehand to like make sure the person you're getting in bed with isn't like a sociopath or the things
Yeah.
like that. And so I don't know. Like I totally agree with you that PrEP is totally a lifestyle drug, and I'm not afraid to say. I'm like I said what I said. So I tweet stuff like that. I'm just like whatever. Like I don't care if you guys get mad at me. I said what I said. So
Yeah. I mean, like I've went really hard against porn, and like a few of the homocons got very angry at me, and they try to say like sex work is work. I'm like, no, it's not.
no, it's not.
I,
How
I'm
can
like,
you say that?
I don't. Well, I think
It
it's that weird like hold on to of the very progressive ideology that was within the gay community, and like the not wanting to slut shame kind of stuff that's very like liberal minded. It's like, no, like if you're online selling like OnlyFans and then saying you're a conservative, they don't really mesh, because there has
well,
to be a line kind of thing. Is
I
like
I
that's my Midwestern Christian conservative dad take.
the thing that I've taken a lot of heat for is so I really got involved in politics because of like wanting to protect children.
Hmm.
Like so like Gays Against Groomers like was very much like we want to like protect the kids. There are books in schools that literally have like sexual acts in them
Oh,
that like little kids have access to them. Like they should not be in school. Or like there's literally books in school that show how to use Grinder as an app, which Grinder as an app is just like it's not good. Don't use it. Anyone out there, don't get on it. But like so that's where I got into it. So now there's kind of this growing movement for having more like ID verification for websites. So for example, like a lot of states are like requiring like age verification to access porn websites now, and like Pornhub is like not functioning in those states. But I'm like, I have no issue with this whatsoever. Like the less
Yeah.
states they're functioning, the better, in my opinion. I think it's a leech on society. But so like so many people I've taken a lot of heat for it because they're like, I'm an adult. I shouldn't have to show my ID to access certain things. And it's like, okay, well, I think that it's a bigger risk for a child to access this stuff than is for you to show your driver's license. And if you feel so strongly about it, maybe you shouldn't be using those websites. Or maybe we
Yeah.
should go back to a time where when you wanted to see naked pictures of people, you should go to like your local convenience store and get a magazine, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe that wouldn't be so bad for society. um or like, so it's just like stuff like that. And it's like, so what I've really taken heat for is that they're like, I don't feel comfortable giving my identification for things like this. How do I know it's secure? Well, we have companies out there that exist right now who do ID verification that is secure. So like when
Yeah.
you go to the airport, like Clear is a private company that takes your ID and works with TSA, right? Like they exist, right? We have them
Yeah.
already. It's not like making some new thing. So I don't really like it's like a big ask for companies to do that. Or like with social media in general, like there's been proposals, and I think Australia actually passed legislation that would require you to like provide your identification, like open a social media account. Like I think that's great. I don't think kids should be on social media. I think it's a
Yeah.
cesspool of places. Like, I mean, I'm an adult and I see things on social media. I'm like, wow, I can't imagine seeing this as a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like that's where I'm like, maybe I'm like, I don't know if that's like, it's definitely not libertarian. I'll say that, because the libertarians I can imagine are very much against having more like government oversight of private companies. But at some points, I'm like, I feel like we do need some more oversight with certain things. So I don't know. Like I always call myself a moderate conservative. I'm not like super far right or anything. Like I feel like I'm reasonable, and I definitely have opinions that kind of divert from that side. That I feel like is somewhat one of them. But yeah, but no, I totally agree with you.
Because one thing I was gonna say too is that there is the ID.gov
Mm-hmm.
service. And so like anytime I'm someplace, like if I'm getting a vet discount for like my, when I'm going to go new cell phone service, like, oh, you a veteran? I'm like, yeah. They pull up ID.gov and enter in my information and it verifies my service.
Right.
And
And
it's and
and they
that's a
don't
that's
have and they don't have access to it. They're not storing it. They're basically just like asking the government, is this a valid ID and are they this age? Or
yeah.
is this a valid ID and were you actually in the military?
Yeah. Yeah. So
And the
basically
government
like
says yes. So they're like, cool, right?
like name, social security date, like date of birth. Oh yeah, like we have his DD 214. And it's like,
Right.
okay, he's a vet. And it's one of those things that like, I've always had like the strong thing, like young men being like led astray, and that's one thing too, like how damaging porn is to young men, because it just miswires what is like acceptable romantic engagements. And one of the biggest things I've always heard is that like, well, the loneliness in young men is a symptom of society. I'm like, then why are you supporting porn? Because porn is like, it's like, well, it's I guess it's a treatment. It's not a cure, but it's feeding into the problem. It's like you're giving a medicine that treats the symptoms but isn't curing it. You're not helping it. And that if men are creating this like maladjusted view of sexuality, of being pure gratification and like emotional detachment from their partner, we kind of get to where we are.
People who say that are those men who watch Andrew Tate and not Jordan Peterson, because people would love to throw them into like the same boat of like, oh, they're both trying to help young men. I'm like, no, they're not. One of
No.
them is actually giving like good advice for what young men should do, and the other one's hanging out with like just the completely wrong crowd. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm going to say something. Andrew Tate's a douchebag, in my opinion. Like, that's just. I said what I said, and if you are someone who appreciates watching his content, I think that you are misguided and need to find new people to watch. So
No,
come at me if you want to, but I said what I said. So
no, Andrew Tate is a complete false masculinity. It's all about, like, I have this Rolex, so therefore I'm a better man than you. And it's like, okay, Andrew Tate, I've got 3 kids with one woman, and you brag about having 15 kids with, like, 15 different women. So you try to say you're a man because you've spread your genetic code, but I've created a stable home life for well-adjusted kids. Like,
and
I'm, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I know which one is more masculine.
And that, in my opinion, truly shows what conservatism is at its core, right? Because we have the conservative idea, and then we have like conservatism as it happens with like Republicans. Like the conservative idea is very much like preserving the family unit and being married and staying married and having kids and being there for your kids and supporting your kids and having your family around you. There was an NBC poll that came out not too long ago that I covered on my show that showed the divide between conservative men and women and liberal men and women. And both conservative men ranked being married and having kids on like their hierarchy of needs at like the very top, and like liberal women ranked it literally like at the bottom, like almost at like the dead bottom. And it was a little bit different for conservative women and liberal men. It was a little bit different, but for the most part, like the conservative camp had like family and kids at like the very top, and the liberals had it kind of towards the bottom. You can go find it very easily if you just look up like conservative, or you can look up the poll from NBC. But it was an interesting poll, and so I said on my show, I'm actually not sure if I said on my show. I know I covered it on my show. I said it somewhere. It was either on a tweet or something like that. But that the true idea of being a conservative, it's not being a Republican, right? It's not wanting a closed border. It's not wanting small government. It's wanting to have a family. It's like wanting to be married. Like I've posted things like, my ultimate goal in life is being married, having kids, having a family, having my greater family around me. And that's where I'm trying to get to. That's why I'm choosing the career that I am. That's why I'm going in the direct. That's like my ultimate goal in life. Beyond everything else aside, is to achieve that goal in my hierarchy of needs, and everything else comes underneath that. So that's what I feel like is ultimately, what conservatism is wanting to preserve the family unit versus what we're seeing is breaking up families, dividing families, right? We have this move. I mean, I feel like I've met so many people on the left who are like, oh my gosh, my dad's this raging conservative, so I've just completely cut him out of my life because I can't bear to have a family member who disagrees with me. God forbid. Right?
The whole coaching people to go no contact.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, there's valid reasons to go no contact.
Oh,
like at
totally.
times, but because like, because it's awkward, it doesn't mean that you just completely skip Thanksgiving and you ostracize the entire extended family. Like it's just weird because like it's almost like it's forcing them away from the nest and safety, and then that person then is easier to pick off. It just seems predatory like that. And sorry, creepy aunt Jeffrey, as Mike Harlow says, like him say like go no contact. It's just like you're just trying to separate that one from the herd, so it's easier to pick off. That just gives me that vibe, and it just creeps me out.
Or so. I'll give you kind of an anecdotal story here. Now, this is not mine. This is a story from my mom. But so she is a teacher, and she teaches these like childbirth classes. So she's dealing with a lot of new parents who are coming in and like learning about how to have a baby and all this stuff. So she's kind of a professional in that field. But she's had so many families who have come in. And it blows my mind when they say this. You're gonna be shocked. They come in and they say things along the lines of, "Well, I'm not going to let my parents come and see my baby unless they bring me stuff. So unless they bring me thanks for the baby. I'm not letting them come to see the baby. Isn't that insane?
That's like weird, like TikTok diva. Like
I
I don't like
know it.
I don't like swearing, but like that's like TikTok diva bullshit.
It blows my mind, and I'm
It's
just
just
like, so I'm someone. So I did not grow up with family around me. I grew up with just my parents. I'm an only child. All of
mhm,
my extended families always lived in other states, like far away.
mhm.
And I'm just like, if I had a baby, the speed at which I would want as many people as possible around me helping me raise this kid. Oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah,
for real, right? So I'm just like, I can't believe that someone would have the gall to say anything like that. It just like blows my mind. And I'm
yeah,
just like, this really is like leftist philosophy of like having families somehow like a bad thing to have around you, or like you have to be like a girl boss and be so independent that I don't
yeah,
need anyone else around me. I can do it all myself, right? Um,
yeah,
so I'm just like, it's just crazy. It just blows my mind.
yeah. I'm yeah. It's weird because like people want to see kids, and it's like I don't like the fact that you're taking time out, like because I just had my third kid, hopefully final kid. I'm getting too old, but just had him in July, and like the fact that somebody took time out of their day to come visit us in the hospital, or came to swing by to see how we're doing. If they didn't bring anything, they took time out of their day to come see us. That they thought about us enough
Exactly,
to come
right?
see us. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like it's like the whole concept of like it's a thought that counts is just lost on a lot of people. It's kind of sad. I mean, like I see some of these girls, like especially the college ones, and like the ring demands too, especially if they're getting engaged.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I am so lucky I'm not like a bachelor at like this time of day, because like just seeing these demands of like, it's got to be this much, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's got to. And I'm like, no, like it's not going to do that, and that's not going to happen.
Someone created a website that you can go to and you can put in like your dating demands, and you can see like what percentage of the population actually like falls into your
Oh,
demands.
really?
Because it was like during like there was a whole trend in social media of like all these women being like, I'm not dating a man unless he's 6 foot tall and he has like this income, and he has a house, and blah 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 blah, and he has to have all that for my age. I'm not dating anyone over the age of 25 because I'm only 22. So he says all these things, or else I'm not dating him. And so someone put together this whole website, and I don't know where they got the data from. I'm sure they got it from a bunch of different places. But basically, you could put in like what's your height requirement, what's your like, or what race of person are you interested in dating, like, and who like falls into like that category. And it was
Hmm.
basically like it was like 1% of the population is like 6 foot tall, under 25, has a house, has a car, makes an income of over $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, whoa.
I always laugh those memes when they have like, like it's like he needs to be like 6 feet, six figures, blah 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 blah, and then like her, and it's got like the one of the like the pig guards from Jabba's palace,
Uh-huh.
like her. I'm like, it sounded kind of true. Like I don't want to be mean, but you have these kind of like I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with the vernacular. It's kind of like you have this like swamp donkeys demanding like absolute perfection. It's like, lady, you're a swamp donkey. Sorry.
Yeah, for real. And like, so like my perspective was like, I just want someone who's like cool. I just want like someone who like has the same values as me. Like, I don't really
Yeah.
care like how tall they are, or really like what they looks like or anything. Like, as long as we kind of like agree on things, like I'm good. So that's like what I looked for, and here I am 2 years later. So
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, the wife and I actually met playing World of Warcraft.
oh, see, there you go. See, something that not the superficial features of ourselves, something that you actually can
Yeah.
connect and bond over, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We were in a guild, found out we're both in Minnesota. We were talking, and then we went on a date, and then like I was actually in a rough living situation because I actually had broken up with like a fiance who basically like she ended up assaulting me.
Oh
And
wow.
because like Minnesota with like following the Duluth model, they always assume the male's the aggressor. And working social
Of
services,
course.
I never did anything, and basically like it was like got to be like a violent assault, and that's where I got her out of the apartment. And then my life fell apart. I was living with a cousin. It was just a horrible situation. And then she's like, how about you just move in with me? And then we've been together like 20 years.
Well, it seems like you really had you had God on your shoulder for that one, because I can't imagine there's very many women playing World of Warcraft.
Dude, that was like a unicorn. It's just like, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like you're a gamer and you have good hygiene and you're a woman. What? Okay, let's do this.
Hey, we all have those things that are like meant to be. So
Yeah. So yeah,
you're like, I know you're the one right there. That did it for me.
yeah.
And
So
that's
I mean,
great.
yeah. So it's, I mean, it's been a good relationship, and I think honestly, like finding someone who feels like it's your best friend, kind of thing, versus like someone that you completely like lust over is like the difference. What people don't understand is like if this is someone that you could talk to every day for the rest of your life and never be bored, is more important than like they instantly get you like sexually excited. And that's what creates like the longevity of a relationship. Not
The most attractive thing about another person is if you can have an actual conversation with them. That does
Yeah.
it for me. Like right there. I'm like, I'm sold. Say no more, but say more.
Well, we're up to about an hour and 16 minutes here, so we should wrap it up. Nathan, do you want to plug where to find you on social media and your podcast again?
Yeah, so the best place to find me on social media is on Twitter, now known as X. I feel like we're just constantly caught in this perpetual loop of either saying Twitter and X, or we can't pick one. I like Twitter, so I always say Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Homonatian. I think it's a fun kind of play on it, play my name. So you can find me there. All my other links for my social media are within my bio. You can find them all there. I have a Substack. I have one article on my Substack right now. More to come, hopefully, sometime in the future. I have plans going into 2026 that have not been announced yet, so keep an eye out for that. But you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Rumble. You can find me on all the platforms at Homonatian. I think the only place the difference, like Rumble, I only post the show on Rumble, which is I think it's Spin Cycle Live. If you look that up, you can find it through my link in bio. But I'm pretty much Homonatian anywhere that there's social media. But X is the main platform I'm active on. That's where all my stuff is at. So keep an eye out on that. So and my DMs are open, so send me a message and talk to me. So I'm always happy to talk to people who are cool and stuff. So feel free if you want to bring something up or ask me a question or whatever. So I'm open to it. So that's my story. And watch my show twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern.
I will say I do try to catch it as often as I can. I wish I could catch it more. I mean, you're Eastern, I'm Central, so it's a little bit difficult because that falls to 5 for me. But no,
Well,
I will.
I'm actually Central too, so it's 5 p.m. Central time. I just say Eastern because it makes it easier for everyone, but I'm Central, and if you miss a show, they're all up on YouTube, so
I
you
know,
can always watch them later. I always have to say that, so they're up on
I know,
YouTube.
I know. They are up there. I mean, usually you and a couple other people. I'm the replay gang, but I'll have your X and YouTube and Rumble linked down below. Once again, JL Professor TieDye here, joined with Nathan Hale for this great conversation, just getting to know him. And everyone, have a great rest of your day.